Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Before we get into everything, if you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any BTS content. And comment down below right now, are you Team Jungkook, or do you think he crossed the line? I want to read every single one of your answers. Now let's get into it. What if the most honest thing a global superstar has ever said on camera happened at 3:40 in the morning, while he was drunk, with his brother sitting next to him? Because that's exactly what happened on February 26, 2026, and the internet has not been the same since. This is the full, unfiltered, and completely factual story of Jungkook's late-night Weverse live stream that set off a chain reaction no one saw coming. And if you think you already know the whole story just from the clips that went viral, stay with me, because there are details that most channels are completely missing. Jungkook is not just another idol. He is the youngest member of BTS, and one of the most recognized human beings on the planet. His 2023 solo single, 7, surpassed 2.8 billion streams on Spotify, making it the first K-pop song ever to hit 2.5 billion streams within a single month of release. Before his military enlistment, he was offered a slot to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show alongside Usher. This man is not just famous, he is in a different stratosphere of fame entirely. And that context matters for everything that happened on February 26th. So keep watching, because the real story is so much more layered than the headlines. It was 3:40 in the morning in Korea. Jungkook opened up a live broadcast on Weverse, HYBE's official fan platform, with his older brother and a close friend by his side. They were drinking. They were singing. For about an hour and 20 minutes, Jungkook did something that K-pop idols are almost never allowed to do. He spoke completely without a filter. He told viewers up front that he wanted to talk comfortably. And talk comfortably he did, in a way that instantly split the entire fandom in half. Now here's the first hook that kept millions of people watching the clips over and over again. Jungkook openly admitted to having smoked heavily in the past. "I'm 30 now," he said on the live stream. "I used to smoke a lot, but I worked really hard to quit." And then, almost immediately, he caught himself and said something that sent shockwaves. "But if I talk about this, the company will go crazy again." Let that sink in for a second. He knew. He knew in real time that saying this would cause a reaction from HYBE. And he said it anyway. That's when things got really interesting. Because Jungkook didn't stop there. He kept going. He said, and this is the quote that spread across every social media platform within hours, "It's my personality to be honest about things because I'm drunk. I don't care about the company and want to talk comfortably." Of course, this could be controversial, but that's me. He doubled down. He said, "I'm a person. Won't be easy, but few people can be completely honest with the world." For an idol in the Korean entertainment industry, where every word, every expression, every outfit is carefully managed, this was not just unusual. It was unprecedented. And the world was watching. Stay right here, because this is where the controversy really splits into two very different directions, and most people are only seeing one side of it. During the broadcast, Jungkook was also seen using profanity, not at fans, but naturally in casual conversation, the way any person might speak with their close friends and family. He laughed about it himself, saying, "It feels awkward talking about this in front of you guys. I end up swearing. I just swore again. Whatever, it just slips out." He even acknowledged that in the past he had been more careful. "I could never swear in front of ARMY before." But that night, surrounded by his brother and a friend, he let his guard down completely. At one point he also made a rude hand gesture, toward his friend, not toward fans, but cameras caught it, clips spread, and it became the centerpiece of headlines that described him as out of control and crossing the line. When some viewers in the live chat began telling him to end the broadcast, Jungkook pushed back. He said, "Why are you telling me to turn it off? I wish people wouldn't try to control me like that. And that moment, that single moment of a 30-year-old man refusing to be controlled even by well-meaning fans, became symbolic of something much bigger. Here was the golden magne of BTS, a person who has spent his entire adult life being managed, packaged, and presented to the world, finally saying, "I exist outside of this image. I am a real person. Don't tell me what to do." And here is something that most viral clips completely cut out. The overwhelming majority of that 90-minute broadcast was warm, funny, and full of genuine fan service. According to people who watched the entire thing, only 1 to 2 minutes could be called truly controversial. The rest of the time, Jungkook was singing with his brother, talking about how hard the comeback preparation had been, sharing that February was an incredibly busy month, and expressing excitement for what was coming next for BTS. The media headlines made it sound like chaos from start to finish, but that is not what actually happened. Now here is the twist that nobody expected. Hours after the live stream ended, and after it was reportedly deleted from the platform, Jungkook posted a selfie on Weverse. The caption was calm and sincere. "The album is really not far away. Please wait just a little longer. And then, when I come back, I'll really work hard." With heart emojis. The whiplash from, "I don't care about the company," at 3 a.m. to, "I'll work really hard," by sunrise had fans doing a double take across every time zone. Was this a sincere shift? Was it pressure from management? Was it just Jungkook being Jungkook, fully human, fully complicated, and not easily reducible to a single headline? Comment below right now, what do you think that morning selfie post meant? Because this is the part that I think deserves a real conversation. The broader context around this moment makes it even more significant. Fellow BTS member RM had already sent shockwaves through the fandom just months earlier, in December 2025, when he revealed he had repeatedly questioned whether the group should disband or go on suspension. "There was a reason we decided not to promote a new album in the second half of 2025, RM said, "but I don't have the authority to explain it." So when Jungkook's live stream happened just weeks later, many fans and analysts began connecting the dots. Were the members of BTS finally openly expressing frustration with the way HYBE was managing them? Was the pressure of one of the biggest music comebacks in history, the Arirang album and world tour, starting to show cracks behind the polished surface? And speaking of Arirang, let's give you the full picture of what was at stake, because this is enormous. After completing mandatory military service, all 7 members of BTS, RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, returned with their 6th Korean-language studio album, Arirang, released on March 20, 2026. The album had over 4 million pre-orders before it even dropped. One day later, on March 21st, BTS performed their comeback concert at the iconic Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul, historic, sacred public space in the heart of the Korean capital. While only 22,000 fans received golden tickets to attend in person, authorities expected up to 260,000 people to flood the surrounding streets. The concert was streamed live exclusively on Netflix, the first time Netflix ever live-streamed a concert rather than releasing it as a taped special, and drew 18.4 million global viewers, reaching the Netflix top 10 in 80 countries and the #1 spot in 24 of them. The financial scale of this comeback is staggering. Analysts estimated BTS's return could generate at least 2.9 trillion Korean won, approximately $1.93 billion, potentially rivaling Taylor Swift's Eras tour earnings. Pre-save numbers on Spotify surpassed 5 million. All North American and European tour dates for the Arirang World Tour, spanning 34 regions and over 80 shows through March 2027, sold out before a single song had even been released, with Live Nation reporting nearly 2.4 million tickets sold in just the first few days. That is the world into which Jungkook's 3 a.m. live stream landed. That is the pressure he was living under when he sat down, poured a drink, and decided to just be honest for one night. And that's what makes this whole situation so complex. Some army members rushed to defend him completely, pointing out that he did nothing illegal, that he quit smoking, that the controversial moments were barely 2 minutes of a 90-minute conversation, and that media coverage was wildly disproportionate. They called it refreshing. They said seeing Jungkook be completely human was healing. Others, including non-fans and some Korean netizens, criticized it as unprofessional and not idol-like for someone of his global status. The reality? Both reactions exist simultaneously, and that's exactly the point. Jungkook himself acknowledged on the live stream that his words could cause hurt. He said, "Some people might get hurt because of me." He also said, "I'm a human being too. Won't be easy, but few people can be completely honest with the world." He wasn't naive about the fallout. He walked into it with his eyes open. One more layer that most people are not talking about. Jungkook explicitly said during the broadcast that the members would probably call him out the next day, and that the company would say something too. And then he said it anyway. That level of self-awareness, combined with the choice to proceed regardless, tells you something important about where Jungkook is mentally and emotionally at this stage of his career. He is 30 years old. He has been in the industry since he was a teenager. He has completed military service. He has achieved global solo success on a scale very few artists in history can claim. And somewhere in that 90-minute broadcast, between the laughter and the swearing and the singing with his brother, he seemed to be quietly drawing a line in the sand. "I am more than the idol you built. I am a person. And I'm going to talk like one." Today, just over a month since that February live stream, and 1 week after the Arirang comeback concert drew 18.4 million Netflix viewers worldwide, the conversation still hasn't died down. ARMY is watching Jungkook on stage, in interviews, in every promotional appearance, asking the same question: was that night a one-time pressure release? Or the beginning of something bigger shifting inside BTS? The documentary BTS, The Return, directed by Baung-gwin, premieres today on Netflix with rare behind-the-scenes access to the making of Arirang, and it may finally answer some of those questions. Was Jungkook wrong? Was he brave? Was he both? I genuinely believe there's no single right answer, and that's exactly why this moment matters. A superstar at the peak of his career chose one late night to be completely, uncomfortably human. Love it or hate it, you can't ignore it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If you learned something new today, give this video a like. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. Share this with any BTS fan who needs the full story, not just the viral clips. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button and the bell so you never miss a breakdown like this one. I'll see you in the next video. Purple You. Purple Heart and Young.